welcome to my channel Shimna Study Corner. Today we are going to discuss the 5th chapter in the First Flight NCERT textbook. The name of the chapter is The 100 Dresses, Part 1. Before we move on to the chapter, let's see something about the author. This lesson is actually a story about a girl who is a Polish native. She belongs to Poland but lives in America. There, in her school, she faces a lot of discrimination amongst her classmates. How is she affected by all these? What does she do later on? Does the attitude of the classmates change with time? These are the things that is discussed in this chapter. Now, let's get into the chapter. Today, Monday, Wanda Petronsky was not in her seat, but nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. Usually, Wanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat, the corner of the room where there was most scuffling of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. So from the first paragraph itself, we understand what the name of the girl is. The girl's name is Wanda Petronsky. The protagonist of this story is Wanda Petronsky. So we get to know that she is an introverted girl from this paragraph. It says that on Monday the girl was absent at school, but no one notices her absence. This shows that she was a friendless girl. Wanda Petronsky was a girl who did not have any friends. Their classroom was room number 13. And she sat in one corner of the classroom. She limited herself to that particular corner. Now it said that she sat in the corner where the rough boys sat. You know what it means by rough boys? The boys who are very naughty, who are not very interested in the lessons. Okay, those kind of boys. So she sat in a seat next to them. Now does that mean that she is also one such girl? We don't know. We'll find out from the chapter. Wanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all, and nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of smile, but that was all. So here we get to know that Wanda was not a very rough girl. She was actually a very quiet and calm girl. And then what else do we get to know about Wanda from this paragraph? We get to know that she was a very quiet and silent girl. She never said anything at all. Nobody had even heard her laugh. So she was so quiet that no one even knew how her voice was. Now let's move on. Nobody knew exactly why Wanda sat in the seat unless it was because she came all the way from Boggins Heights and her feet were usually caked with dry mud. But no one really thought much about Wanda Petronsky once she sat in the corner of the room. So from this paragraph we get to know where this girl lived. She lived in a place called Boggins Heights, and we understand that by the time she reached school from Boggins Heights, her feet were usually covered with mud. So from this we understand that Boggins Heights would be a place which is pretty rural, which doesn't have a proper transportation or clean roads. Okay, so by the time she came to school, her feet was caked with mud. That also shows that she did not avail any transportation to come to school. Instead, she walked. She came to school on feet. We get to know all these things from that paragraph. So it said that no one actually knew why this girl sit over there in that particular seat, and the only explanation for her choosing that seat is this, that she did not want anyone to see that her feet was caked with mud. So no one would notice because it was in a corner of the classroom. Her seat was in the corner of a classroom. Let's move on. The time when they thought about Vanda was outside of school hours, at noon time when they were coming back to school, or in the morning early before school began, when groups of 2 or 3 or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the schoolyard. So in the previous paragraph we saw that once Vanda took her seat in that corner, no one even thought about her. Everyone ignored her. She was someone who was ignored by everyone. But there were 2 different times when this girl was thought about. Which were those 2 times? One time was when they were coming to school, okay, that is before school hours, when they were on their way to school. And the next one was when they were leaving the school, when on their way back home. Okay, so these were the 2 times when the children or the classmates thought or remembered about Vanda. So why do these children remember or think about Vanda only during that time? She is ignored in the classroom. Then why do these people think about her during these 2 times alone? Let's find out. Then sometimes they waited for Vanda to have fun with her. So why did they wait for her during these 2 times? It said that they waited for her to have fun with her. Now what sort of fun would it be? To have fun with her here means to make fun of her or to tease her. So this was their hobby, and this is why they remembered her only during these 2 times. Now let's move on. The next day, Tuesday, Vanda was not in school either, and nobody noticed her absence again. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, who sat down front with other children who got good marks and who didn't track in a whole lot of mud, did notice that Vanda wasn't there. Peggy was the most popular girl in the school. She was very pretty. She had many pretty clothes and her hair was curly. Maddie was her closest friend. The reason Peggy and Maddie noticed Vanda's absence was because Vanda had made them late to school. They had waited and waited for Vanda to have some fun with her, and she just hadn't come. They often waited for Vanda Petronsky to have fun with her. So this was a condition, this was the kind of treatment that Vanda was getting in school. Okay, so we saw that on Monday she was already absent. On Tuesday again she was absent, but even now, even after 2 days of absence, no one noticed that the girl was not there. But on Wednesday, on the 3rd day of absence, someone notices that she was on leave. And who were those people? The 2 people who noticed her absence were Peggy and Maddie. 2 girls named Peggy and Maddie. Now, why did they notice her? Why did they notice her absence? They noticed her absence because, as usual, or as it is a practice with them, they waited for Vanda to make fun of her in the morning before reaching the school. And what happened? Vanda did not come. They kept on waiting for her, and thereby they became late to reach school. Okay, so as Vanda had made them late to school, they waited for Vanda, and because of that they were late to school. So due to this reason, they noticed that Vanda was on leave. Otherwise they wouldn't have noticed. Okay, so due to this one incident, they noticed that Vanda was on leave. Vanda did not come to school. Then from this paragraph we get to know a little bit about Peggy. What are the things that we get to know about Peggy from this paragraph? Peggy was the most popular girl in the school. She was the most popular girl in the school, and she was someone who studied pretty well. She scored good marks. She was good at academics. Peggy was a pretty girl. She had a lot of pretty clothes. She had curly hair. She was beautiful. Okay, so we get to know all these things about Peggy from this paragraph. If she had a lot of pretty dresses, that shows that obviously she was from a rich family. She was from a well-off family. Who was Peggy's closest friend? Peggy's closest friend was Maddie. Maddie was Peggy's closest friend. So these are the things that we get to know from this paragraph. we get to know how Peggy and Maddie noticed that Wanda Petronsky was absent on that particular day, and we also get to know a little bit about Peggy, what sort of a person she is, her physical appearance, how good she is in studies, and we get to know that she also hails from a well-off family. Her best friend is Maddie. So these are the things that we get to know from this paragraph. Moving on to the next paragraph. Wanda Petronsky, most of the children in room 13 didn't have names like that. They had names easy to say, like Thomas, Smith, or Ellen. There was one boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce, and people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way that Petronsky was. So now we get to know why the children made fun of Wanda. We get to know different reasons. So this is the first reason. They felt that her name was funny. What was her name? Wanda Petronsky. Okay, the name was Wanda Petronsky, and the children felt that that particular name was very funny. Okay, and they compare her name with the rest of the students in the class. Okay, they say that her name was different. It was not like the usual names that they had in the class, like Thomas, Smith, or Ellen. Okay, so they felt that her name was funny. Wanda didn't have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress that didn't hang right. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. She didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls play hopscotch on the worn hard ground. Once again, it is said that Wanda was a friendless girl. She did not have any friends. She was alone when she came to school and also when she left back from school. We also get to know that she did not have many clothes, which proves that she came from a poor family. The only dress that she wore to school was a faded blue dress. That was the only dress that she wore to school, and that too was faded. That was, it seemed as if it was not ironed properly, but though it was faded and it looked as if it was not pressed properly, it was clean. The dress was always clean, but the only thing was that she did not have an extra pair to wear to the school. Then it said that she did not have any friends, but still there were many girls who talked to her. Now, if the girls were not her friends, why did they talk to her? They talked to her to make fun of her. That is what we are going to see in the next paragraph. Wanda, Peggy would say in a most courteous manner, as though she were talking to Miss Mason. Wanda, she would say, giving one of her friends a nudge. Tell us, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? So, this is why they talked to her. And it was Peggy always who began this. They inquired about how many dresses this girl had when it was evident that the girl did not have many dresses. It was very clear to them that the girl did not have many dresses, otherwise she would have worn them to the school. In spite of knowing that, they tried to make fun of her poverty. They asked her how many dresses she has got in her closet, and what would Wanda's answer be? She would answer, 100. 100, exclaimed all the girls incredulously, and the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. So, in spite of having just one dress, what would Wanda say? Wanda would say that she had 100 dresses. Her reply was this, 100 dresses. Then, in the text, we see their conversation. Yeah, 100, all lined up, said Wanda. Then her thin lips drew together in silence. What are they like? All silk, I bet, said Peggy. Yeah, all silk, all colors. Velvet too? Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses, Wanda would repeat stolidly, all lined up in my closet. Then they would let her go, and then, before she had gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. So, what do we see here? They continue the conversation with her for some time, and you can see her answers. What are her answers? She stands by what she says. She says that she has got 100 dress, all of them are lined up in her closet, and whatever, she answers positively to whatever they ask. They ask her what sort of dresses are they? Are they made of silk? She says yes, everything is made of silk. And they even ask her if she has got dresses of velvet. She says that yes, I have got dresses of velvet too. After they have had enough of fun with her, they would let her go. But even before she cleared away from the area, they would start laughing, which made it evident that they were actually making fun of her. So this was how the girl was treated amongst her classmates. Then the narrator moves on to say, 100 dresses. Obviously, the only dress Wanda had was a blue one she wore every day. So why did she say she had 100? What a story! How many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this. All alike? Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. So here we get to know that she was not just made fun for her number of dresses. She was also made fun for her number of shoes. The next thing that the girls would ask were, how many shoes did you have? And again she answered in the same tone. She says that she has 60 pairs of shoes. She would go on to say that they did not look the same, they were of different colors and all these things. And the girls had a very good time making fun of Wanda for all these things. Let's move on. Peggy, who had thought up this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. Finally, Wanda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. We get to know one more thing about Peggy. Peggy is the one who began all these things. Peggy was the one who started making fun of Wanda, and it was Peggy and Maddie who were the last to leave. Okay, so they made fun of Wanda to the maximum. And then we see that the poor girl, Wanda, she walks all alone back to her place after the school. She did not have anyone to support her nor anyone to accompany her. So this girl goes away all alone back to her Boggins Heights. What picture do we form of Peggy over here? We get to see that Peggy is a rich girl, Peggy is a beautiful girl, but we see that Peggy is cruel enough to tease and make fun of Wanda for her poverty. That is the picture that we get. But in the next paragraph, we are given a detailed explanation of the character of Peggy. Let's go through it. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies, and she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. If anybody had said to her, "Don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Wanda?" she would have been very surprised. Cruel? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Anybody could tell that that was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person. Else, why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. So here we get to know something more about Peggy. The picture that we form about Peggy after seeing her treatment of Wanda is that she is a very bad girl. That is what we feel. But then in this paragraph, they have detailed about the character of Peggy. Peggy was actually not very cruel. How do we understand that? It is said that the narrator says that she was a girl who did not like to see animals being teased. She cried for hours, it seems, if she sees an animal being teased. Similarly, she also rescued little children from bullies. When she saw little children being teased by bullies, she rescued them. So she was not that bad. Then, why did she tease Wanda? She had her own justification for that. What was the justification? Her justification was this: why did Wanda tell a lie? It is obvious that Wanda doesn't have many dresses because she just wears one dress. Then, when she was asked this question, why did she tell a lie? So this was Peggy's justification. She knew that whatever Wanda said was a lie, and it was because of that that Peggy continued teasing this girl. Moreover, she felt that Wanda was not like any other ordinary children because she had a different name. Okay, she had a different name. As we have already seen, she is a Polish girl and she lives in America. So, people in America or Americans found her name funny. So, this was also one reason. Peggy felt that she was not an ordinary child, otherwise, she would have had an ordinary name like any one of them. So, her name was funny, plus, she told lies when she was asked a question. Due to these reasons, Peggy continues to tease her. As for Maddie, this business of asking Wanda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that she had was bothering her. Maddie was poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Thank goodness she didn't live up on the Boggins Heights or have a funny name. Now we got to know something about Peggy. We also have one more girl, Peggy's best friend. What is her name? Her name is Maddie. Now we get to know something about Maddie also. Was Maddie actually enjoying this game of teasing Wanda? Not at all. She was not enjoying this game of teasing Wanda. This game was actually bothering her. And why did it bother her? Because Maddie herself was a poor girl. Maddie herself was a poor girl and therefore teasing Wanda for her poverty, this game was actually bothering her. It's said that Maddie usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Now what are hand-me-down clothes? Hand-me-down clothes are those kind of clothes which are handed over to you by someone else after their use. Once the dresses don't fit them, the dresses are no longer suitable for them, they're handed down to somebody who can use them. These kind of clothes are called hand-me-down clothes. So Maddie's family couldn't afford new clothes for Maddie. Therefore, she wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes. So Maddie's family was that poor. The difference between Maddie and Wanda was that Wanda lived on Boggins Heights, but Maddie did not. That was the only difference. Otherwise, financially, both of them were more or less of the same condition. And this is why teasing Wanda bothered Maddie. Sometimes, when Peggy was asking Wanda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. Not that she felt sorry for Wanda exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Wanda if Peggy hadn't invented the dresses game. But suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. She wasn't as poor as Wanda, perhaps, but she was poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky. Whenever the teasing game was going on, whenever Peggy and the other girls were doing this teasing game, Maddie kept quiet because she was not feeling good. If she was not feeling good, then why did not she stop these girls? She had a reason for that too. Though she was poor, though she was feeling bad about teasing Wanda, she did not have the guts to stop Peggy because she was scared that if she spoke anything against Peggy and the rest of the girls, maybe later on their next target would be Maddie herself. She was scared of this. She did not want anyone to tease her for her poverty. She was scared that this would happen if she contradicted Peggy and the other girls. So, this is the reason why she did not contradict any of them even though she was feeling bad. Today, even though they had been late to school, Maddie was glad she had not had to make fun of Wanda. She worked her arithmetic problems absent-mindedly. 8 times 8, let's see. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy a note because she knew she never would have the courage to speak right out to Peggy, to say, "Hey Peg, let's stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has." When she finished her arithmetic, she did start a note to Peggy. Suddenly, she paused and shuddered. She pictured herself in the schoolyard, a new target for Peggy and the girls. Peggy might ask her where she got the dress that she had on. and Maddie would have to say it was one of Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise with new trimmings, as no one in room 13 would recognize it. So, on this particular day, that is on Wednesday, on the day on which Maddie and Peggy notices that Wanda was absent, Maddie was happy that though they were late to school, at least she did not have to make fun of Wanda that day. She was feeling happy. She was absent-mindedly doing her works. Her thoughts were completely on this act of teasing Wanda. She wanted to tell Peggy somehow to stop doing all these things. She even started writing a note to Peggy to ask her to stop making fun of Wanda. But halfway through her note, she shudders. Now, why does she shudder? She shudders, picturing herself in Wanda's place. She was scared. How would she face it if Peggy started teasing her? If she lost the friendship of Peggy and Peggy would turn against her and start making fun of her? What if Peggy would ask her, whose dress was she wearing right then? The truth was that she was wearing Peggy's old dress, which her mother had altered somehow so that the rest of the girls wouldn't notice. She shudders at the thought of all this, and she stops herself from writing the letter. She tears the letter, she tears the note which she had already begun. If only Peggy would decide of her own accord to stop having fun with Wanda. Oh well, Maddie ran her hand through her short blonde hair as though to push the uncomfortable thoughts away. What difference did it make? Slowly, Maddie tore into bits the note she had started. She was Peggy's best friend. And Peggy was the best liked girl in the whole room. Peggy could not possibly do anything that was really wrong, she thought. So, even though she started writing a letter to Peggy, she couldn't bring herself to do that because she was scared. She was very scared. She was scared about being the next target of Peggy and the other girls. She genuinely wished that Peggy would stop teasing the girl. But she did not have the courage to speak about this topic to Peggy. She consoles herself thinking that anyway, Peggy is the best liked girl in the class, in the school in fact. She is the most popular girl. So probably whatever Peggy does would be right. So she tries to find some sort of peace of mind with this thought. As for Wanda, she was just some girl who lived up on the Boggins Heights and stood alone in the schoolyard. She scarcely ever said anything to anybody. The only time she talked was in the schoolyard about her 100 dresses. Maddie remembered her telling about one of her dresses, pale blue with colored trimmings, and she remembered another that was brilliant jungle green with a red sash. You would look like a Christmas tree in that, the girls had said in pretended admiration. So as Maddie thought about all these things, her thoughts turned to Wanda. She thought about Wanda, those times when Wanda stood alone in the schoolyard and when the girls made fun of her. We also understand that Wanda even described her dresses, the color of her dresses. And Maddie is reminded about two different dresses that she talked about. One was a pale blue color with colored trimmings. Another dress was actually jungle green in color. It was brilliant jungle green in color with red sash. So she remembers about these two dresses which Wanda had spoken about. Thinking about Wanda and her 100 dresses, all lined up in the closet, Maddie began to wonder who was going to win the drawing and coloring contest. For girls, this contest consisted of designing dresses and for boys of designing motorboats. Probably, Peggy would win the girls' medal. Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room. At least that's what everybody thought. She could copy a picture in a magazine or some film star's head so that you could almost tell who it was. Oh, Maddie was sure Peggy would win. Well, tomorrow the teacher was going to announce the winners. Then they would know. So as she thought about Wanda and her different dresses, she was reminded about something else. What was she reminded about? She was reminded about the painting contest which was held for the students of the class. For girls, the competition consisted of designing dresses, beautiful dresses, and for boys it was designing motorboats. So she was wondering who would win the girls' medal, and then she reaches a conclusion that probably Peggy would be winning the girls' medal because Peggy was the best artist in the class. At least that's what everyone thought. She could draw better than all the others. We couldn't call her a perfect artist, but she drew better than the other students in the class. So therefore, Maddie felt that she would win the medal. Anyway, the results would be announced the next day, so they could wait for it. The next day, teacher would announce the winners. The next day, it was drizzling. Maddie and Peggy hurried to school under Peggy's umbrella. Naturally, on a day like this, they didn't wait for Wanda Petronsky on the corner of the Oliver Street, the street that far away under the railroad tracks and up the hill led to Boggan's Heights. Anyway, they weren't taking chances on being late today because today was important. Okay, so the next day, that is Thursday, and both of them were going very quickly to school under Peggy's umbrella. So here we get to know one more thing. Maddie did not have an umbrella, even an umbrella of her own. She had to share Peggy's umbrella. So they were hurrying to school, and on that day, they did not wait for Wanda because that day was important. They couldn't afford to be late to school. Why was that day important? As we have already seen, that day was important because on that particular day, the teacher was going to announce the results of the painting competition. So on that day, they did not wait for Wanda. They went straight to the school. On their way, they have a very short conversation regarding the painting competition. Let's see what that is. "Do you think Miss Mason will announce the winners today?" asked Peggy. "Oh, I hope so, the minute we get in," said Maddie. "Of course, you will win, Peg." "Hope so," said Peggy eagerly. So, from this conversation, we get to know that both of them expects Peggy to win. Peggy also feels that she would win the contest. Now, talking about all these things, finally they reach the school. The minute they entered the classroom, they stopped short and gasped. There were drawings all over the room on every ledge and windowsill. Dazzling colors and brilliant lavish designs, all drawn on great sheets of wrapping paper. There must have been 100 of them, all lined up. These must be the drawings for the contest. They were. Everybody stopped and whistled or murmured admiringly. So, once they entered the classroom, they gasped. Why did they gasp, or what made them gasp? They were shocked because they saw many drawings. There were many drawings. There were drawings all over the windowsill, ledge, everywhere. There were many drawings, and all of them were beautiful. And they assumed that these drawings must be for the contest. And all the pictures were not drawn on proper or regular drawing sheets. They were drawn on wrapping papers, great sheets or big sheets of wrapping paper. Everyone was so much baffled by the paintings that they just stood there looking and admiring the pictures. The pictures were so beautiful that they just stopped and stood there admiring the drawings. As soon as the class had assembled, Miss Mason announced the winners. Jack Beggles had won for the boys, she said, and his design for an outboard motor was on exhibition in room 12 along with the sketches by all the other boys. So we have already seen that there were separate drawing contests for boys and girls. For girls, it was to design dresses, and for boys, it was to design motorboats. So who was the winner of the boys competition? A boy named Jack Beggles was the winner of boys competition. Now what is left off is to see who is the winner of the girls competition. As for the girls, she said, although just 1 or 2 sketches were submitted by most, one girl, and room number 13 should be proud of her. This one girl actually drew 100 designs, all different and all beautiful. In the opinion of the judges, any one of the drawings is worthy of winning the prize. I am very happy to say that Wanda Petronsky is a winner of the girls' medal. So, here the teacher explains that the winner of the girls' competition was Wanda Petronsky, and she says that Wanda's paintings were so beautiful that the judges felt that even if she had submitted only one painting, that would have bagged the prize. But actually, how many drawings did this girl submit? 100 drawings were submitted by this girl, and all the designs were different and all were equally beautiful. So here we see a hidden talent in Vanda which the rest of her classmates did not identify. So what were those 100 dresses that the girl was actually talking about when these girls were making fun of her? Vanda was actually speaking about the 100 paintings that she had made. So we understand that Vanda was not lying as Peggy believed it. She was actually talking about the 100 paintings of dresses that she had made. So after telling all this, the teacher continues saying something else. Let's see what that is. Unfortunately, Vanda has been absent from school for some days and is not here to receive the applause that is due to her. Let us hope she will be back tomorrow. Now class, you may file around the room quietly and look at her exquisite drawing. The teacher says that unfortunately, Vanda has been absent from school for some days. We have already seen that she was not present in the class since Monday. Okay, the day on which the prize is announced is Thursday. So all these days she was away from school. So the teacher says that it's unfortunate that Vanda is not here to receive the applause, the appreciation that is due to her, that she should be getting. And she says that she hopes that this girl would be back by the next day. And then she gives a permission to the children to walk around. To file around means to walk around the classroom and see the paintings. The children burst into applause, and even the boys were glad to have a chance to stamp on the floor, put their fingers in their mouths and whistle, though they were not interested in dresses. "Look, Peg," whispered Maddie. "There's that blue one she told us about. Isn't it beautiful?" "Yes," said Peggy, "and here's the green one. Boy, and I thought I could draw." So here, once the teacher allowed them to go and watch the paintings, everyone were excited. Even the boys were excited. They were not very interested in dresses. Even then, they were happy that they got a chance to whistle and stamp their feet and make some noise. And we see Peggy and Maddie commenting on the dresses or on the paintings. They were completely baffled by the beauty of the drawings, and they recognizes those dresses which we had talked about earlier. We saw that Maddie remembered a few dresses, a few colors of dresses, a pale blue one with colored trimmings and a brilliant jungle green with red sash. They finds out those paintings from among those pictures. Okay, and they actually says that this girl has got talent, and Peggy even realizes and admits that her talent is nothing in front of Vanda's. That is why she says, "Boy, I thought I could draw." So with this, children, we come to an end of this chapter. This is just part 1 of the 100 dresses. We will discuss the part 2 of the same story in the next class. Till then, it's bye from me. Bye.